the best of teachers will do this naturally if they're compassionate and if they're caring. But it tends to get lost in the teenage years as the focus of education becomes more mental, more instrumental, more strictly career-oriented. So for some, education is more and more, year by year in this country, education is becoming utilitarian. It's, it's to help us fit into a certain kind of economy. It's not really education. It's something else. It's programming. So yeah, the education of the heart needs to be reintroduced, needs to be understood and developed consciously. And to do that within our own system today, we may need to find the right language to present it to people so they don't think it's something sort of woo-woo, But I think it's quite a reasonable proposition. I think from this conversation that we're having, do you think there's a rationale for educating the heart?
I'm very fortunate to have had a very good education in the humanities. From my high school years with the Jesuit education, through college when I was at one of the best small colleges in America, where we had contact with great scholars and thinkers in small classes. And my focus was on the humanities and on the history of religions. And so these things I'm talking about, the beauty of meaning, it was all naturally interwoven with what we were studying. I think where there's a great loss is when education becomes merely technical. There's a place for technical education, of course, but it's in the humanities, the arts, culture, that the heart naturally manifests itself. And we are enriched by that, just very naturally. It's all there, we don't have to invent it. It's in our culture already. But we have to be careful that it is not edited out. And also, I think that there could be a lot gained by a spiritual education, whether we call it spiritual or not, that helps students to understand what is the nature of awareness, what about that part of ourselves that is not the thinking mind. We have a fundamental awareness that is prior to the thoughts of our ego. It is greater than, it is a greater, wider space. And I wish that our educational system could identify this and allow students to experience more of this. It's beginning to happen in some schools through what is called mindfulness training. That's a beginning, that's not the whole of it. I would add heartfulness to mindfulness. It's more than just some kind of mental awareness. Maybe one day humanity will be able to include this as an essential part of human education. It's really about knowing ourselves and knowing what this humanness is. What are the capacities of awareness? What can the human being know? What is our most valuable experience? These things can be identified and made into, I think, a rigorous kind of education. That's what we do in spirituality and Sufism, absolutely. It's a meta-education, but it's really just an education of our humanness.